Have you ever been in an elevator or a line in the United States and suddenly a stranger starts talking to you? Hi, I'm Jason, and this is Jason's Easy English, a podcast that helps you improve your English and understand American culture using clear, natural, everyday language. Today we're talking about small talk in the United States, especially in places like elevators, stores, and waiting in lines. I'm going to tell you a short story that shows how Americans use small talk, why we do it, and what it really means. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy this podcast, please follow or subscribe and recommend it to your friends. All right, let's get started. Okay, before we begin, just a quick reminder. This story is fictional, but the situations and the language are very real and very American. So, picture this, imagine this. It's a normal weekday morning. I'm leaving my apartment to go to work. I'm a little tired, still thinking about my coffee, and honestly, I don't really feel like talking. I walk into the elevator. There's already a woman inside. We don't know each other. We smile, maybe nod our heads. Very normal. The doors close, and for a second, it's quiet. Then, she looks at me and says, "Looks like it's going to be a hot day." Now, this is classic American small talk. She's not asking for real information. She's not worried about the weather. She's just making conversation. In American English, making conversation means saying something polite or obvious just to avoid silence. Like in Portuguese, falar só para não ficar em silêncio, or in Spanish, hablar por cortesía. I smile and say, "Yeah, it really does. Summer's definitely here." That's it. That's the whole conversation. The elevator stops. We both say, "Have a good day," and we walk away. In the U.S., silence with strangers can feel awkward. The word awkward means uncomfortable and a little strange, like constrangedor in Portuguese, or in Spanish, incómodo. Small talk helps people feel more relaxed and less awkward in those moments. Later that day, I stop at a convenience store to buy a bottle of water. I walk up to the counter. The cashier scans my items, looks up and says, "Long line today, huh?" He's right. The line is slow. When Americans are stuck somewhere, stuck meaning they can't move, right? Estão presos or atrapados. Small talk almost always appears. I laugh and say, "Yeah, seems like everybody had the same idea." We smile, the line moves, no stress. This kind of talk helps break the ice. The expression to break the ice means to make a social situation more relaxed, especially with people you don't know. It's almost the same expression in Portuguese, quebrar o gelo, or in Spanish, romper el hielo. Exactly the same expression. So, with small talk, no one is trying to make a new friend. It's just about being human in a shared moment. Now, let's talk a little more about waiting in lines, because Americans really love small talk in lines. A few days later, I'm waiting at a coffee shop. The line is long. The person behind me says, "Wow, this place is packed today." The word packed means very full or crowded. So like in Brazilian Portuguese, "Está lotado aqui, está muito lotado." Or in Spanish, "Está llenísimo, está muy lleno." I turn around and say, "Yeah, but it's worth the wait. Their coffee is amazing." that short exchange creates a friendly feeling. We're both waiting. We both understand the situation. For a moment, we feel connected. In many Latin American cultures, you usually talk only to people you already know. But in the U.S., talking to strangers like this to avoid that awkward silent moment is very common. It doesn't mean Americans want to be close friends. It just means we want the moment to feel comfortable. Sometimes small talk can even feel a little forced. But most of the time, it's just a natural habit. And here's one more important idea. Small talk is almost always light and impersonal. And here, light means easy and relaxed, not serious. So, algo leve or algo ligero. People don't talk about private topics or personal topics or deep feelings with strangers, of course. They talk about the weather, the line, the traffic, how busy a place is, topics that are safe. So, if an American talks to you in an elevator, a store, a coffee shop, waiting in line, don't panic. You don't need perfect English. A short answer, a smile, or even just, yeah, is perfectly fine. All right, I hope that story was interesting and understandable. Before I let you go, let's quickly review the main points from today's episode. Today, we talked about small talk in American culture. We saw how Americans use it in elevators, in stores, or waiting in line to avoid awkward silence. We learned that making conversation means saying something polite just to avoid silence, not starting a real conversation. We're just making conversation. We talked about being stuck, right? Ficar preso or atrapado, stuck waiting, and how small talk helps break the ice, quebrar o gelo, romper el hielo, and how places can feel packed, lotados, llenos, when they're very crowded. And finally, we learned that small talk is usually, almost always, light and impersonal. Light meaning easy, relaxed, algo leve, algo ligero. The big idea is simple. Small talk isn't about real information. It's about comfort, politeness, and avoiding that awkward silence. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope you were able to understand most of the episode and even learned something new about American culture and everyday English. Be sure to follow or subscribe to Jason's Easy English, and please share this podcast with your friends who are also learning English. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time.